Well, it was a little bit, I guess, fortuitous in the sense that we bought the building. When I say we, my wife and I, the sign went up out the front and we sort of bought the building, and then from that moment it was like, okay, it's going to be base. But then digging into it, literally, we were like, well, hang on, what's underneath this building? And as architects, I think we're like, well, let's explore what is here. And we bought the building, we knew what we were going to do upstairs, we were talking about expanding the terrace and everything, and then had a tenant down here in the Australia Post, so I thought, well, we've got to go down and check it out. And lo and behold, behind there was like a hidden door, and he'd go behind there to put the mail in the back of the post boxes, right? Secure post boxes. And then beyond that, which is where we're sitting now, was this pretty much this dirt-filled space, which he used to just offload all of his crap from that year, back to whenever. So Dad and I got down here, cleaned it all out, realised that there was a pretty big space, and thought we had concrete here and some brick walls and some walls that we could dig this out. Now behind us there's windows, but they were walls, so we're dark, we're head torches type of thing. And anyway, cleared the stuff out, and then in the background we're sort of throwing around ideas, going, well, what sort of size it is and all those sort of things, measuring it up or getting someone to measure it up, draw it up, and then I'm like, yep, there's something in here. So I ring a mate of mine who's a concreter and an excavator, and I'm like, got to come and check this out, we're going to dig this out. Literally dig the whole thing out. So within about 6 or 7 days, we've busted holes through things, we've got conveyor belts, we've got little diggers that we've hired and we've oxyed off the cab to get in and dig out, and conveyor belts out into the ute, and we're just digging stuff out. People are going, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. We're just going to create a space and then work out, surely there's rentable space here. Commercial building, we can do something with this. Digging, dug out about 90 cubic metres, and then we're like, yep, now we've got a space. And so then I'm like, what do we do with it? So all these ideas running through my mind, thinking bars, florists, bookshops, accountants, everything. Of course, coming back to the bar and thinking that would be cool. Coffee shop, had a few mates who have got coffee shops and thought, well, let's tune in with these guys and see, well, how do you go about it? We design these things, like not so much day in, day out, but clients come to us with these propositions. Hey, I've got a space, what do we do with it? So I'm the client and I'm the kind of architect and I'm the everything in a sense, just going, well, what do we do? So we came up with the idea of the coffee shop, the bar. Then I had to run it by the boss and sort of said, well, what about a bar? And she's like, no, I don't think we'll do a bar. I don't think that'll be really good, So I said, well, how about we try and rent it out? How about we create a space that's raw, so it's block walls, get people in and see if they're interested. We had a lady who wanted to do those like Botanica type salads to come in. And I'm like, yeah, okay, come in. She's like, right, want to do this, want to do that. And I'm thinking, awesome, got a tenant here. Then you get into the nitty gritty of, well, what's the business proposition? And she's like, well, I want you to fit it out, and I want a 3-year lease, and I want this, and I'm starting to do the math going, so you want me to spend a couple of $100,000 on fitting out a place that you want a 3-year lease on, that I'm gonna get 60 grand back on? And so I was like, that doesn't work. So I was just canned the idea and said to the boss and said, well, I think we're gonna do our own thing. So then I started investigating the semantics of how a coffee shop runs, and I don't want to do it, but I want to know who can do it, and the bar and so on, and kind of just went from there. I mean, there's a lot more detail obviously, but I guess it started from an idea of being on your chest, on dirt, going, we've got the bones of something here, the fabric of something that we can turn into something different. And I guess that adaptive reuse dives back into what we do. People come to us and we're going, I've bought an old church, I want to turn it into my house. I've bought an old office, I want to turn it into a bakery. To me, it's like, that's sustainable. It's like reusing something or making something of something that's actually there and it's been there for so many years. How can it be a new use that you can give back to the community and all those sort of things, and obviously try to turn a buck at the same time? And it got my business head moving. I'd work a lot with clients that they do things emotionally, but they also do things very financially. And it's like, well, if I can be that one that understands that, it's bettering my business up there and it's bettering this business down here. So I learn a lot of things. We hire a lot of professional people upstairs, and we hire a different, I guess, network of students and like soon to be lawyers and physio students and everything. It's like, wow, this is like, to me, it always felt like a win-win-win. It was always going to break even at best. And you employ 7 people that you can see their lives grow. And like Lockie's been here for 4 years. Physio student, he's now finished, but he still wants to be here. So it's, I don't know, it's like a bit of architecture, building, life, passion, drinking, I don't know, the whole thing.